Right, there is only one place to start. We've had the Carabao Cup final yesterday. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. Lee, how's the head to start with?
It's still a bit ropey, I would say. My voice is slowly coming back, but what a magical weekend for us. It's just incredible. I've never experienced it. Even fans who are 60, 70, 80 probably can't remember the last time we won a domestic trophy. The whole weekend was just brilliant. It was emotional. I was in tears. I was hugging strangers. It was high-fiving. It was just an emotion of roller coaster. And finally, that monkey's off our back and we've got a trophy. And it's just, it was wonderful. It was brilliant as a fan. I loved it.
What do you think about you talking about the emotion of it, but the actual performance, the game? What were your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? I thought we might sneak at 1-0, but I thought Liverpool would have a lot more of the ball, and I was intrigued to see if Eddie Howe would go 5 at the back, and like he did at Arsenal, but it really surprised me. We were the better side, and Liverpool have absolutely hammered teams all season, played them off the park, but it looked like we were the team that was 16 points clear of the Premier League, playing against Liverpool. It really shocked us, and we were like, we don't turn up in Wembley. Our record at Wembley is absolutely shocking. You've got to give fair play to Eddie Howe, because the performance, individually, the team, you got it spot on.
Scholesy, what did you think of the game?
Yeah,
watching it all?
Exactly the same. I just felt from the first whistle, Newcastle were in complete control, really. I know Liverpool possibly looked a little bit tired, but you have to be a little bit disappointed with the way Liverpool played. I think especially in the midfield area, I just think Newcastle overpowered them. So I said to you before, I think McAllister is a really good player. I think he's been really good for them this season, but it was just common sense for me. He kept taking too many touches, and I think when you're playing against powerful people, that's the last thing you do. You've got to take 1 and 2 touches. Don't let anybody near you. But as soon as you start taking touches, it's not something McAllister does, is it? And he's the player that I think gets Liverpool playing. You know, like almost like a Modric has been through the years.
Scholes?
Well, now and again, yeah. But that type of player, he gets your team playing. When he's not quite right, then I just think the whole thing was a little bit messed up, and I just thought they were in complete good. I never felt like Liverpool were going to be a threat to him.
No, I mean, I didn't watching the game. It's when the game started, Newcastle started, and I think probably Newcastle needed to start well to gain that belief and confidence. But I've always had this feeling throughout this season, and probably been proven right a lot of time, Liverpool always find a way to, or Slot does something, he changes something. It never quite happened. But the fella I was watching on the week he's had, Dan Burn, I mean, he is going to go down. Listen, I know they're all going to be legendary figures, but I feel like he's going to be the guy with the goal, the way he played at the back. He's almost going to be like this legendary figure from years to come. I mean, how pleased were you for him and with him?
Well, he's a local lad, and he went away from the club and made his way up through the leagues, and it's that old fairy tale story, isn't it? And then he's come back to his hometown club, and he would never have thought that he would get an England call up and soon to make his England debut, score a goal at Wembley, and lift the trophy for his home side. It's just the stuff of dreams, and there's a few Geordies in there, of course. They'll all go down as legends, and even the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, who was obviously a foreign talent who's come in. You can see just with the emotions when we won, he's in tears, and he gets it, and I think that's quite difficult for someone who's come from abroad, and he's only been in the club 2.5 years, and he's taking it on, and he's screaming, and him and Joe Linton, every time we win a throw-in or a tackle, they're going nuts, screaming, giving it all, and it's like we love that. And it was, I do agree with Scholes. He was saying that midfield three, that's how we won the game, because on their day, Tonali, Joe Linton, and Bruno are up there with anyone in the Premier League. And I said on the overlap last time that Hall and Gordon, we had the best left in the Premier League. And when them two went suspensions and injuries, I was like, oh yeah, I just didn't feel too confident. But then when Trent went down and he went out, I thought, do you know what, that's a little bit of hope. And there was little things that were happening in the week as we're getting closer and closer to the game. Instead of 2 years ago against Man United, we were just buzzing to be there. You know, the celebrations were muted. Even on the day as fans, it wasn't as hectic as what it was 2 years ago. And it's just, you know, we're back, second time in 3 years. Could it be the start of things? It was just...
I think that's a good point. I think Liverpool are missing Trent. Now, you don't normally say that about a right-back, do you? But the creative, the amount of passes he plays probably in behind for Salah so many times throughout the game. I also ask you, Jamie, from a defensive point of view, it's shown the weakness of zonal defending, isn't it? because they just clipped every corner to Dan Burn. Now you think because it's out there, it might not be that much of a problem, do you know what I mean? But he did head one down for Guimarães, I think, early on.
He got his head on everything, didn't he? I think it was 3 or 4.
You felt the warning signs must be there. You've got McAllister, who's probably smaller than me, up against me. You think, come on, you've got to change something.
I mean, listen, the zonal man marking thing, I mean, what I would say, to be fair to Liverpool, I think they've only conceded 1 all season in the Premier League, and I think that was in the last minute against Ipswich at home. So again, that didn't really mean nothing. But what I did want Liverpool to do in the game, I think if you're a Van Dijk, especially because I don't think anyone else has got that authority on the pitch, even though Konaté's a good player, he's not going to start organising people. Yeah. But almost you just, I was looking at half time, and it's easy to say, oh, put Van Dijk on him, but that's Liverpool's set up zonally. But swap Jota. I know Jota's only small, but Jota's good in the air. McAllister's not great physically, or do something. I think they should have done something. But what I would say about that, speaking to Eddie Howe at the end of the game, he said they've been practicing set pieces for that game for 2 weeks. And I'm a massive fan of Eddie Howe as a manager. I think he's brilliant. And I always think, not just the corners, every set piece. When I was watching in the box, I was saying, Liverpool, be ready, be ready. Because, as we know as players, whenever you've worked on something set piece-wise, something a bit different, you always do it on the first one. Because players aren't clever enough to think, oh, we'll do it on the third or the fourth. It's like, right, this is what we're doing on this one. And even there was a wide free kick, or there was something happened quick. Eddie Howe's brilliant at it. But it just told me about the mentality going into the game. I'm not having a go at Liverpool here, because they've had other things going on in terms of Paris Saint-Germain in the league. I think Eddie Howe, even when he's gone to Anfield in the league game, he said to us afterwards, he deliberately played differently to how he was going to play in the game. He didn't play Isak. He almost said to us, Isak could have played, but
Isak was fine.
We didn't want to throw our hand, and I thought, brilliant management that. You know, I mean, that's almost like a masterclass in how getting right for that game. And that's not saying he's tactically outwitted Slot or something like that, but he's had those 2 or 3 weeks before the game and he's just focused on that game. And Liverpool probably haven't had that opportunity. Yeah. And I just think in every area of the game, he was fantastic, the manager.
Yeah, the game at Anfield, he called his bluff. He even played Gordon as a number 10, and Gordon doesn't play there often. Yeah. Obviously, Isak, there was a lot of talk, is he injured? And we were like, nah, he wasn't. He's calling his bluff. He's literally just rested him for that game. And then, as you say, the tactics were totally different, especially with the set pieces. But it was just the final. I still, even now, I'm in shock that we've won the trophy. But it was so easy. It's like we're expecting Liverpool to dominate and have loads of chances. And Nick Pope only had 1 save to make, 1 save in that whole game. And then, I mean, you were talking about Eddie Howe, and I think now he's lifted that trophy. And obviously, we worship the likes of Kevin Keegan and Bobby Robson. But Eddie Howe's now gone and done it. So there'll be, I don't know.
I thought that was a big part of the game. So it was Liverpool's chance. Was it 15, 20 minutes ago? I think it was Curtis Jones on it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great chance. I think if he scores there, and okay, looking back, but I thought he made a bit of a difference when he came on as well. You think if he scores there, you've got 15 minutes, well, it could be a different story.
It could be, and the referee added on, I don't know what it was, 12, 13 minutes, and that was nervy.
You used to like to waste time, don't you?
Well...
Is Guimarães still all right, or is he still down?
Hey, don't get bitter now, don't get bitter. But look, it's the dark arts, and sometimes you've got to do that just to kill the game and run the clock down, and we're doing that, and we've got a trophy, and I want to ask you too then, with Eddie Howe, does he deserve a statue? I don't think he'll get it now. No, but for us...
We'll start getting the Ten Hag one ready.
But the reason why I asked that is
won the League Cup. Fucking hell.
But for us...
Everyone tries to get knocked out with that all year.
Yeah, but we've won a trophy, so there's one...
It does kind of show you how lucky we are as fans. Like, you kind of think of it when you see Newcastle celebrating a trophy, like league. We take it for granted, you know what I mean? We sack managers for winning the League Cup, or Louis van Gaal got sacked for winning the FA Cup, and kind of shows you how lucky you are when you get to experience those things. Like, in the last 10 years... You'd argue it's been my worst time as a fan, and I've seen like 5 or 6 trophies. Like, could be worse.
We haven't.
I was thinking about this coming, because obviously we're going to talk about it, but in some ways, I was happy Newcastle won, but I just didn't want it to be against Liverpool. I'd rather have been there and they beat someone else. That was the problem. But I was actually so happy for a few Newcastle people who know, and you got different people I've got to know over the years, and you're thinking, you know, what your reaction was. I was right next to them in the crowd, listening to people on the radio coming in saying, you know, the best day of my life. And, you know, as supporters, everyone just wants that moment, don't they?